Hi, this is a quick overview video of my FullBridge Flyback driver with PWM modulation for music. The basic setup is currently a Arduino preloaded with a Tetris theme tune. It just outputs square wave notes. That is then buffered by a NPN inverter to invert the low output to a high output, and then that is opto coupled via this to the enable pin or the inhibit pin on the 4046 oscillator, which is set up as fixed frequency. Currently the switching frequency is 25 kilohertz. That then drives a bridge of TO220 60 volt 42 amp MOSFETs with TO220 plastic package, anti-parallel diodes, and then 18 volt Zenas on the gates. The resistor for the gate drive is a single 10 ohm resistor on the primary side, as I didn't have enough for individuals on the secondary side. Bridge cap is 10 microfarad polypropylene and 3900 microfarad electrolytic, and then there's a current meter and a 24 volt 6 amp transformer. Current setup in terms of operation is the inhibit pin on the 4046 is active low, so when the pin is low the oscillator runs, when the pin is high the oscillator is off. So to keep the thing off while nothing's happening, the inverter stage here is required. Currently with no input the output is high, which in turn drives the optocoupler, which then in turn outputs a high signal, which then keeps the oscillator off, and that's getting its supply from a 9 volt battery. That purely drives the inverter stage, which is it's a 2.2k load resistor, 2.2k resistor for the LED in there, so effectively it's 4.4k for the LED, and then a 10k base resistor. So when the output of this is high, it pulls the output of this low, which in turn turns off the optocoupler, which then in turn turns on the 4046 oscillator. Only downside to that is if this battery goes flat, then that turns on. But the reason that I did this was because originally in the previous video to this one, this inverter stage wasn't here, and it would be pulling around 5 to 6 amps. It pulls 10 amps with no modulation, so just pure on. It pulls about 10 amps, 10, 12 peak. When it was playing music, the Tetris theme, it was pulling around 5 to 6 amps, but that was because it was on or a note was playing. But now it's got it's inverted. It's now off when nothing's happening, and then on when a note's played, and that's dropped the current down to around 1 or 2 amps, maybe 3 amps. Peaks at about 5. That also means that the arc is not continuous anymore, this is my arc gap. That in the previous video it's continuous and it plays the music, whereas in this case when nothing happens the arc disappears and then reignites every time a note starts playing. So yes, that's the overview. Currently the Arduino has been powered by a boost converter, as I don't have anything else to power it with at the moment. But as you can see on the scope, yellow line is the gate waveform. As you see, nothing's happening. When I plug the Arduino in, it's now playing music, and as you can see, as you can see, that's pretty much the overview. The next step is fibre optic transmitter and receiver, so that I can set the Arduino up as a MIDI device, so it can be fed MIDI from the laptop, transmit it over fibre to the inverter, and then drive this as a MIDI based Flyback. So thanks for watching, and hope you found it interesting.